So while this video will mostly be about Warrior slide plates, and this will obviously show one pad with the slide plate on and one pad without the slide plate. The right pad has it, the left pad doesn't. I put it on the right because my left leg is not as strong as my right leg. My right leg is my dominant leg. So I put it on the weak leg and it slides amazingly. But before we go into that, I noticed something from this video, and I've noticed it while playing it a lot, but I never really noticed why until I was kind of editing this video specifically. So I have my True custom skates, and I think True has made solid improvements in their skates for a while, and this is like no difference. I don't have a ton of complaints about these skates, but one of the complaints I do have is how much my outer ankles hurt when I use them. And it's mostly like on back-to-back days, and it's only with certain pads. And one pad that I noticed it really bad for is SLR3s, and also these pads I noticed it quite a lot too. And I noticed why on this video. And what that is when I'm in my stance, I'm kind of like this, right? But then when I crouch lower or go deeper, my ankles are obviously more bent, and especially when you're in like the RVH. When the pad itself's outer wing allows your leg to kind of move more in it without like the leg restricting, or without the leg channel like restricting how much your ankle can bend compared to the rest of your body. These pads don't, like, I don't feel any restriction there whatsoever. Same with the SLRs. The piece on the SLR is so soft that it just flaps out of the way. This piece ends up digging into my outer ankle. There's no like soft wrap around it, and while this corner is kind of soft, as you can see, like you can push it in, there's seam right here is the part that's doing it, right? So that seam is right there. So instead of having like something like this all the way across where this would be a lot softer, that seam is what is kind of digging into my ankle, and it's honestly pretty uncomfortable. So I wish like that would change, and that's something I really noticed in this, like editing this video and watching the clips from it, on how much like pads, the wing really affects how much that can, or how that feels. Now, slide plates. People are always going to be critical about a new piece of gear, and they'll force their opinions on how someone feels about it by watching something. Like, I do not feel uncomfortable in these at all. There's always an adjustment period when you switch between pads, especially with pads that have like very good sliding capabilities and worse sliding capabilities. SLR3s are a pad that takes time to adjust to. Any Vaughn pad with quick slide really does, especially like fresh quick slide, because they slide like nothing else. They slide better than these do with the slide plate. So it's definitely an adjustment period when you move from one pad that slides crazy to another pad. These Warriors with the slide plates are not the best sliding pads. They're the second best sliding pads. The SLR3s and quick slide, SLR2s as well, slide better than with this, and everything else is below these. That's just how it is. There always is an adjustment period as well. Usually takes about 2-3 games, I find, for you to get kind of used to it and how it moves, but every once in a while it comes out where you just not overslide, but your body does something that you weren't expecting. And it happened when I used pads with 3M tape on the landing block and the sliding surface as well. The big notice of this is when you slide into posts and when you're trying to adjust off of a post. So normally when you kind of go into post, your body slows it down and everything, and then that's kind of it. But with these, because they're so slippery and there's like zero friction, your knee kind of, like the way the pad works is it'll hit the post and then it kind of keeps going a little bit. So you kind of have to adjust to that. That happened in the first game I used these, where I made a paddle save where my teammate passed it back to their team, and then he came out, I made a paddle save, and then they banged in the rebound. I went to push with this leg, and it kind of, the left leg, it kind of slid out and kind of got in the way. And it happens less and less over time. People will probably say one of the goals here where I came across, made a save, it was off my pad rebound, and it was a wide open net. My teammate luckily got it, and they like this, so the guy didn't get the rebound in. They'll say that was all because I overslid into the play because of the slide plates. It's not because of the slide plates, and that's why I slow-moed it. It was because I was sliding into the play regardless. I never stopped my left foot. I transferred over and then dropped with the momentum already there, and I just kept sliding regardless. My left legs did have the slide plate on and kept sliding regardless. So it's not a play where like this is causing anything. Yes, there's adjustment periods, and you have to know like how hard you have to push and how the thing is going to play. But this is saving a lot more plays than it causes all the time. And anything that it causes is simply because you have to make adjustments to things and how they work. It's for everything. Every time I switch a glove, the glove isn't going to be perfect for me all the time. In fact, a lot of gloves I just can't work with. I'm going to use it and see how it is and test how it is. But these are a huge benefit, and there's no way I would ever permanently remove these things. I'd only ever do it for testing because they're so good for that. But people, like I said, people always put their thoughts on something before, or put their feelings on something, on how someone feels when they post something, regardless of how I feel about it. These are awesome. They're really good. They're a huge like benefit for what Warrior is doing, and I think this is going to be a huge seller as long as they can get some product out there to add it to pads that don't slide as well, because it's going to make a big difference, and it's going to give a lot more life into your slide and your pads, because like Jenpro degrading and stuff like that. You can just use 3M tape as well, which is something I will suggest people do, but this is a lot more permanent solution, and it's a lot less finicky compared to 3M tape because the sides always fold up on it and stuff, and it gets like peeled apart. This is a lot more durable solution for that. So I like these. They're awesome. I'm gonna keep using them, and I'll have a full review of this in the future, and hopefully we'll have some SLR footage coming very soon as well. Wearing one pad with the plate and one pad without the plate was also surprisingly okay. Like, it wasn't a big issue between the two. You definitely notice really quickly which one has it and which one doesn't, and you notice that in every push. But you also notice like difference in stabilities and everything with the two, and like kind of consistency. And what I mean by that is, because this is a plate and this is the only plastic piece on this pad, the other pad being all just Jenpro, when you lean and stuff on it, you get the same material and force on the ice the whole time. With this, if you're on it flat, it slides really quick. If you angle it a bit and you get more Jenpro from that sliding edge, then it slows down. A really surprising thing, and it only happened like once, and it happened at the very beginning of the skate, is like I figured this would be just super awkward to use all the time. I did drop in the butterfly once, and my body just kept, like, when I dropped, I kind of just turned, and because I didn't drop perfectly at the same time, like symmetrically, so I kind of like dropped with one leg and then dropped the other, and my body just kind of turned a little bit. But it only happened really once, and then after that it was totally fine to use, and it like wasn't hindering me at all or anything, and it felt like I was just wearing the same pad. Obviously one was like one direction slid better, but it didn't make a huge difference to how the pad felt and everything, and it was fine. So if you're buying hockey equipment and you want to support the channel, check out the links in the description. In the US, check out the links to Pure Hockey. In Canada, check out the links to Hockey Supremacy. If you click those links and make a purchase, I get a kickback from the sale. So anything that comes back from that comes right back into the channel, so I keep making more content and doing like real reviews and stuff. I got buy gear to do a lot of the tests for it, so that costs money, and it would be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel without buying anything, check out links in the description to Patreon, buy me a coffee. Everything through there comes again back into the channel, so I keep making more content and doing real reviews.
Y'all ready for this?
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.